Hi everybody. Good morning. No, good afternoon. Monday. Monday always gets me that way. So we're live. I have three of you watching already. Excellent. Let's see how many we can get this morning for our little kitty cat. So this is a really simple demo today. Just showing you how you can create some colourful art with some simple tools. And yeah, I came across this image. It's actually a paint by numbers, which you can buy online, or why not have a go yourself? So I saw it, it just caught my eye, and I thought that would make a really good demo for today. So oh, I see the notice has just gone out that I'm live. So we should get more of you come on now. So as usual, I'm scrolling through my phone to see if I've got it live on here as well. But for some reason, I can see it all on the screen today, so that's good. 11 of you. Fabulous. Hello, Becky. How are you? Are you well? I was just saying, there's 14 of you now. I was just saying that this image I found, I was Googling, and I found this image, and it's actually from a paint by numbers that you can buy and send off for. It was extortionate price though. It was hello Joy. Hi Joy. Yeah, it was really expensive to buy it in, so why not draw it yourself? So I thought it would make a really fun thing to kick us off this week on a Monday morning. So this is one I did earlier. It's a little bit rough around the edges, so apologies for that. Now, you can complete this putty cat in any medium you like. I said that I was going to be doing it in acrylics today on paper, and that's what I did this morning. Now, this was a mixture of acrylic pens. I'm fortunate enough to have bought myself these one for all acrylic pens some time ago. I don't get to use them that much, so I thought it'd be a good excuse to use them today. So it's acrylic paint in a pen form. Lots of people use them for painting stones, you know, the rocks and stones. In fact, I have to paint some rocks later for the NHS rock share thing that someone nominated me for. So I might even put the cat on a stone. What do you think? Okay, so I'm just going to put that to one side, and I've drawn my putty cat out. I've just sketched it out in pencil. Hopefully you can see that there. Very light drawing of the pussy cat. Okay, and I have used my ruler to do a box around it, because you cannot see, I can't find anything more than the face that I've shown you, so I couldn't find any bigger versions of this. They probably are out there, but so we're going to focus on this close up. So I'm going to draw a box around it. Now you could do this on black paper, and that would save you the hassle of painting the black around the extremities, but I'm going for white. So I've sketched him out. I'm not going to ink him in. I've also got some watercolour pens. These are Arteza ones. Again, I bought them ages ago and don't really get to use them. They're really nicer because they have a brush instead of a nib. Okay, so it is a brush pen. So if you've got any of those knocking around, or felt tip pens, guys, colouring pencils, watercolours, or acrylics. I've also squeezed out the colours required in my Tatty palette here. So I'm going to do a mixture of my pens, and if I'm not liking what's happening with the pens, I'll add some paint as well. So I've got a couple of brushes to keep me going. There's not an awful lot to say about this other than be careful when you're drawing it out. You could print it off. And sorry, someone just put be safe, guys. I was wondering what we're doing that's dangerous this morning. Yeah, so you can print it off and trace it down if that's easier for you. Hello, Fee on age 6 and her grandmother. Lovely to have you along. Hi, Sandra, Linda, Mark. Hello, Mark. I hope you're feeling better. I know you've not been too well. Okay, so the thing to do is to be really careful that you keep your colours separate. We're not blending colours here. It's very basic colours. I shall keep my puddy cat to the side here. So he's just in view on the camera. I'll pull that down a bit. Yeah. Okay, so it's very basic colours, very blocky. The key is you could do this on black paper as well, as I mentioned, but you would need a white pen to do that. So I'm going to start with one colour at a time, and I'm going to start with red, nice and bold. I'm going to start with that up his nose. Now I want each colour, if you're using watercolours to do this, you want to make sure each colour is dry before you put the subsequent colour on. Otherwise you will get a bleed and the colours will merge together, and we don't want that. We want these colours to stand on their own, not blend together for once. So I'm just blocking in where I see red on the picture. I've got it on my iPad up here, in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. Yeah, so we've got that coming up here. And you don't have to use these colours. I was thinking actually this would look really good in black and white with just the eyes being done in colour. That would be a really nice way to do it. So I'm just looking, it is like paint by numbers. Obviously it is a paint by numbers, but we don't have the numbers. So just treat it in that way, in that you're completing each section a bit at a time. Just use that colour where you see it. I'm going to switch over to my brush in a minute so you can see this can be created by brush. The hardest bit is tracking which bits you've done when you've sketched it out. So you could, if you wanted, put a little colour code on each bit that you've drawn. Like they would, give it a number, turn it into your own paint by numbers. Hey Linda, how are you today? Nice easy one for you this morning. I'm trying not to lose my way, but it doesn't really matter if you do. You see how lovely these acrylic pens go down? It's like a felt tip pen, but you can blend with them as well if you wanted. I could bring some yellow in here and blend it. Now, in the original version of this, they've used 2 or 3 reds, but I'm just sticking to keeping it simple, just using the one. And there's a little bit of red action going on over here at the top here. Really fun thing to do, really cheerful picture. I think it's really effective. I wouldn't mind having this on my wall. In fact, I may well frame this one up if it comes out okay and put him on my wall. Mark, you can do this one as well. No excuses. Anyone can do this. Okay, I think that's about it for my red. No, I've missed a little bit just around the light of the eye there. So, hello, Sue. Don't worry about being late. Okay, so the next colour I'll put on using a brush, shall I? So I must wash this brush out because this is one of my favourite watercolour brushes. You shouldn't really mix it. I should keep it for watercolours, but I live life dangerously today. Okay, so I'm going to come in. I'm working with sort of the darker colours, but I'm going to leave the black till later. I don't want the black to get into the other colours because if it gets into the yellows, it will mess it up for you. So I'm going to come in with, there's not much green. I'm going to use the green next. So if you're using your paints, just make sure they're nicely watered down. You don't want them too watery, but you want them to pour nicely. So just add a little bit of water on your brush. The green I've got here is not really the right green, but I'm running short on greens for some reason at the moment. So I'm going to bring this green in here. You have to be more careful with a brush Actually, I'm going to switch to my smaller one. I'm a coward because there's quite a little spiky bits coming up off of each of these shapes. Very diagonal shapes coming to a point. So you can use a brush with your paints, or you can use, as I say, if you've got pens, if you've got felt tip pens, colouring pencils, all those will work for you. Okay, this green comes in under the eye here, comes around the eye. Is anyone joining in today? Has anyone printed this little kitty off? I can't wait to see what you've done later. You could change this to any animal, use this method. You could. I think there's quite a lot in the collection that I saw online for these paint by number sets, lions and tigers and so on. But seriously, if you can either copy, you can print it off, save yourself some money. I'm sure that the paint by numbers kit was something like £20, in excess of £20. And you could do this at home with felt tip pens, trace down the picture and get the same effect for pennies. So yeah, and times are hard, guys, yeah, in this uncertain time. So I think people are just desperate for something to do. I remember my mum doing paint by numbers when I was a kid. She used to love them. She was always sat there with her little pots of paints. They smelt terribly though. They were oil paints back then. There we go. Can you see how already, just these two colours down, how pretty this kitty is? A little bit more water on the brush. Remember, if you're using the acrylic paints, you need to keep them flowing. You don't want them to feel pulling. And I'm working on paper today. So this is, it's a pad that I'm actually selling at the moment. So if you want a paper that's good enough to work with acrylic paints, check out my website. I've got a few, I think I've got 2 or 3 pads left. They're really good. And you don't want to be using canvases all the time. It works out really expensive. So having either a good acrylic pad or a mixed media pad will save you some money. Okay, a bit of green in there. I'm just going to grab the pad for those of you that are interested in what I'm using. I will show you. It's a multi-techniques pad. It's a grained paper and it will take acrylic, watercolours, pencil, pastel, so charcoal. Really good pad. 20 sheets and I think I've got it around £10.50, something like that. It's not the cheapest of paper, but so much cheaper than canvases. And so you can use it for your watercolours as well as your acrylics. So yeah, good little investment there. If you're in the market. I'm going to carry on with my brush and the paint. So I feel like I'm cheating a little bit using the pens. And I'll go back to the pens in a little while. So I'm going into my blue next. Bring this blue in here. You want your paint nice and thick. You don't want it too watery. It's your brush that should be wet. Okay. So we get these spikes. Oh, I picked up the wrong brush again. So I'm just coming in. Nice and bold. Remember, you don't want to cross over the other colours if you can help it. Because if your paint is still wet, and acrylics dries quick, especially on paper, it dries even quicker than on canvas actually. But yeah, you don't want these colours to mix down on the paper. But the joy of using acrylic as opposed to watercolour is you can take one colour over another and block out. So in this section of his face, I am going to add some white over the top of this blue. Now with watercolour, you can't do that. With watercolour, you're going to have to leave the white paper to show through or paint it in watercolour and add some acrylic over the top in white. That's your get out of jail free card for that. Okay. And really pretty colours. And everyone's doing rainbows at the moment, aren't they, to support the NHS and show our love and respect for what they're all doing out there on the front line. Why not do a rainbow cat? Cats are your thing. Stick that in your window. Impress the neighbours. You get the neighbours' kids jealous. So the red has dried here, so I'm okay to take this paint up beside the red.
I'll quickly just tell you something.
Yeah.
There's evidence now that this fucking COVID is man-made.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paid by the Americans.
Okay, so I'm just coming in with the blue here. I'm not worried about the whiskers either. The whiskers can come over the top. Who's painting along? Your chameleon pens. Oh, what are they? Chameleon pens. Is that a brand, Sandra? I've not heard of chameleon pens. Okay, I'm going to carry on with this blue here. So you could put some different blues in, or actually I'll do that here because I think a lighter blue would look good against this darker blue. Bring in some white into my blue to get a more pastel-y blue down. And I'm going to bring that in over the top. You see how wonderfully acrylic you can layer with it? There. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? I was just being lazy. Lazy Monday. So did anybody do anything really good at the weekend? We had a family quiz last night using my Zoom app, and we had people, and John's from Cyprus, so we had family join us from Cyprus, and yeah, it was really good fun, and we won. Who would have thought? And there was no cheating. It was quite easy though, I have to say. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm not going to switch over to my pens yet. I'm going to take some lighter blue back up over this blue I put on earlier. Just mix in some white with my blue, get some lighter blue. You could complete this with just 3 primary colours. You don't need all the colours of the rainbow. You can mix them yourself. Anyone else using any other medium? Joy, yes, do take it slowly. They can change colour when you add a blender and go from light to dark. Oh, they sound fun. I like the sound of those. Yeah, this is something that you shouldn't rush because you want to get it precise. Joy, so you're doing the right thing taking it slowly. This video will probably go on for quite a while because I also need to take it a bit slowly today to make sure I do this putty cat justice. Now there is some black and there is some purple in this cat. Depends what screen, if you're looking at it on a screen or I'm also going to change the screen now. I'm going to add another green to it. I'm getting into my flow now. I'm going to add, I didn't put any more blue. I'll add a bit of this blue into my green. It's not really the right one, but to darken my green down. Get a different colour green going on and bring that in as well because there's some more green coming behind these whiskers here. Oh yeah, there we go. Can you see the difference there between those colours? Hopefully you can. Just some different shades of green. Had some interest. I didn't do that in this one earlier. It's all block colours. And I didn't vary the shades. I just went for one green, one purple, one red, which you can do. Totally up to you, your cats. I'll share a link later if anyone is interested in where I got this image from. And you can have a look at the other paint by numbers that they do. Not for you to do paint by numbers, for you to use and copy the images. So long as you're not selling them, you're okay to use images that you find on the good old internet. Okay, I think that's it for my green. So I'm going to go back into the eye. I'm going to switch over to my pens. And I'm going to bring the oranges in. So just again, treat it like a paint by numbers. Look where these colours are. These pens are really solid, beautiful colours. But I have a very limited range of them. The orange coming up to join the red in the eye there and around the side. I think once we get the eyes in, he'll make sense. I'm trying not to smudge. That's the only thing. Put a bit of tissue down under my hand, just so I don't smudge my pretty cat. Okay, there's some orange coming out here in these whiskers. Now, when you're doing these fine bits, there's some areas like the side of the pussycat's face here where he's just got some fine bits of colour that are just flicking out. So I'm just putting my pen down and flicking. And if I was using the brush, I'll do that now. I'll do the same thing. Get my bright orange paint, put the brush down, push down, and then flick out. Flick to a point. As you're coming away, lift your brush up and you'll get that graduated point there. I'm going to go back to my brush actually for this section in here. You see what happens. Up. And bring my brush up to a point as I come into those small areas where it's meeting the red. So lay down my brush with the point, pull away. It's all about, guys, how much pressure you're putting on your brush. Now, I didn't think I'd have much to say today about doing this cat, but actually now I've started, there is quite a lot to tell you about brush technique. If you're using a felt tip pen, that's one thing, or an acrylic marker, it's a lot easier. But with your brush, let me show you on this piece of paper here. Think about the amount of pressure you're putting in. I'll use my bigger brush so you can see better. And I'll use this lovely bright orange. So when you're painting, you can use the tip of the brush to create a thin line, or you can push down through the brush, push it right down on the page, and then come back up and out to get to your point. I've got quite a lot of water on my brush there. I'll do it again. So you can start on the point, push through, really get all the bristles down on the page to get a fat line, and then come back up, up, up to the tip. Okay, and if you're creating flicks, you'll just want to push down your paint brush to get your mark and flick away, down and flick away, and you'll get that lovely pointed end to your mark making. Pop that pussycat away now. Okay, I'll carry on. I'll carry on with my marker pen for a moment. And my orange looks the same whether I'm using my marker pen, my acrylic pen, sorry. There we go. My paper's stuck to my putty cat. There we are. Okay, there's some more orange coming up here into this blue around the eye. I'm just going to pop that in there. You see with acrylic, I need to go over this blue because I made a bit of a mistake where I put the blue. And you can just go straight over the top. That's what's so forgiving about acrylics. You know, they will let you, they're opaque and they're solid colours, so you can go over lines, go over mistakes. Now there's definitely another colour going on in the eyebrow here, which I might mix and bring in as well. There's a peachy colour around there. So let's see where else there's orange before I change colour. There's a little bit of orange around the edge of the nose. This lovely little nose. Oh, you know what? If I take my dogs for a walk later and I see someone with one of these cats in their window, that would be really awesome. I'm taking this orange over the red here. So I just want a lighter reddy colour there, around that bit of the face. Just bring another colour into play. There we go. Orange, orange, anywhere else? Do I need orange anywhere else? A little bit up here. Okay, but you don't have to follow the patterns of this cat either, guys. You can use your own. You love Cyprus, Linda. Well, our plan is to go and live there in a couple of years, so you'll have to come out and see me. That's our plan, to escape to the sun. I'm just cleaning off my yellow pen because it's picked up some green from where I was playing with it earlier. It's one of those where you have to pump the paint. There we go, it's got rid of that. So now this green is dry, I can come in this section with the yellow, straight over the top in places where I may have gone wrong earlier. It's kind of a zigzaggy pattern all over this putty cat. Okay, I'm going to come into the eye with this lovely yellow. There's a lot of yellow in the eye. Really bright cat's eye. Perhaps I should do my pet portraits in this style. That would be fun. There we go. Just getting the paint flowing, giving it a good tap. I don't know if anyone saw, I put an offer out that during lockdown, I'm heavily discounting the price of my pet portraits. So if you know someone that would like or is thinking about getting one done, have a look. You can see some of the past ones that I've done, that I've posted, just so you can see the likeness that I get in your pooches. Okay, coming down the nose with this yellow. Who's having fun with these cats? Okay, there's quite a bit of yellow in these whiskers here. You know what, I'm moving back to my brush because it's a bit quicker. Water, acrylic paint. So everything I'm doing, whether it's pen or paintbrush, is acrylic paint, guys. It's just in a different format. It's a more user-friendly format in a pen that you're more used to than a brush. Bring these whiskers. This side of the face is very yellow. And up round the eye. Up over the top of this green. Bring these peaks in. Yellow's a harder colour to get to go over the top because it's more translucent than most other colours. So you might have to go a bit thicker to put your yellow over the top. There's a bit of yellow down here, the side of the eye. There we go. I'm just going to go over the eyeball again with the yellow I've got on my brush. How much fun can we have on a Monday? Painting our kitty cats. Love it. I really like this. It's such a pretty picture. Okay, how am I doing? I've missed a little bit of orange, so I'm just going to come back in there with some orange. I don't want any white paper showing by the time I finish this. So I'm just filling in my gaps. It still doesn't look much like a cat, does it? But wait till we get the darks in, then it'll start taking shape. Okay, I think my next colour is going to be pink. I'll need to use my paint for this because the only pink pen I've got is very bright pink. It's too bright. So I'm going to take this pink up the nose. Remember, guys, if you've got any ideas of things you'd like me to demo, then let me know. What size, Linda? This is, well, I'm doing it really tiny. So this is an A4 sheet. So it's just about A5 size, but you could do it any size you want. You'd find it actually if you went bigger a bit easier because it wouldn't be so fiddly. But you can sit there today, really take your time with it. Please have a go. You'll find it really enjoyable. Once you've got your drawing down and you find a way to get your drawing down, you can just sit there and come back to it, leave it, come back to it, do a bit at a time. Really don't rush it. Enjoy it. I've just added a bit of white to my pink to give a little lighter bit to that nose area. And whilst I'm at it, I'm going to add a bit of white to my orange here to get a more peachy colour. Because as I mentioned earlier, up on this eyebrow here, there is a softer peachy colour coming through. And there's a little bit of that in the whiskers here. I think that's all there is of that colour. Okay, so I'll wash my brush out. Where do I want to go next? I really could do with a bit of darker green, so I'm going to switch to my pen. Sorry, when my hands go near the camera, I know it blurs a little bit. So I want a bit of a darker green around this part of his face. Just to overlay with the green I used earlier, I'm going to use this one here as well. It's a bit darker. So with these marker pens, with these acrylic pens, if you wanted to, you could put them down from the pen and you can add water to them as well to spread your colour around. So they act just like a normal acrylic paint, just in pen form. I'm going to do the same up here. Just darken. I want this brighter green to pop out more against the darker green. So I just need this darker green up here. You'll see the difference that makes. Just makes it really sharper. The other green stands out more. Okay, so I think there's a bit here as well. A bit there. I think that's that. Okay, exciting times. Purple next. Purple next. So back to my brush again, because I've got a really nice dark purple over here. Again, I could use my pen if I wanted, but I'm going to be brave and use the brush. How many we got left on? 18 of you. Pam's sister lost her dachshund. Yes, she did. I remember that, Linda. I remember Pam saying that was awful. Whilst Pam was looking after her, her dachshund passed away. Oh, I would love to do it for you, Linda. Absolutely adore dachshunds. I absolutely adore all dogs. Okay, so I'm just coming into my purple now, and it'll really start to take shape once you start getting these darker colours on. Just take your time, be careful around those little points. Let's take this purple up here. You want a nice thin brush that comes to a point, so you don't want a blunt-ended brush, it'll be too fat. Just coming up. Well, I've got a fun class tonight. I just had another booking for. We're doing watercolour, and we're doing layering with watercolour. And people will learn a lot from this lesson tonight. I was playing around with it earlier, yesterday. So this is what people are going to be learning to do tonight, creating these layers. It's called negative painting. So instead of painting the actual shape, you're painting everything around the outside of the shape to leave a shape behind. So there we go. That's what people are going to be getting up to tonight. I have a couple of places left if anyone wants to join in with that lesson. I think it's £8 for that, but you'd need to email me, go on my website and book if you want a place on that, and then I'll send you the join-in information. So other than Facebook Live, where it's just me talking at you, in that you're in a virtual classroom with me and you get to see all your classmates, so it's good fun. It's as close to reality as we can get, back to teaching in the real world. So you can see how this dark purple really starts to make this cat take shape. And this purple is going to fade into black down here around the edges. To say, I'm boxing this cat in, so all will become clear very soon. How are you getting on? It looks like a naughty parrot. I'm clearly doing something wrong then, Linda, if it looks like a parrot. There we go. Get this side of the face blocked in. And now I'm going to come up around the nose. I'm going to come up beside the eye. So just looking for the places where the purple is sitting. I can remember when my mum was doing paint by numbers all those years ago. She would sit there determined that she'd got all of the number threes that were red or whatever numbers they were, and then find she'd missed some. It used to drive her mad. You think you'd finished one colour, you could move on to the next. I get the appeal of painting by numbers. It's very relaxing, but then so is this, and it's cheaper. I think I said that one, didn't I? Okay. Anyone else painting along today? What are you using? Let me know. Coloured pencils, felt tip pens. I don't expect to see your completed pictures too quickly after I finish this tutorial, because they can take a while to do. You want to do them neatly. I'm just bringing this purple in where I see it on the reference picture. Could be a dark blue. Looking at it now, I'm seeing it as dark blue, but I've gone purple now. And I quite like the purple. Is anyone else doing this purple dark blue? That would be good to know. Because when I looked at it this morning, it definitely looked purple. But now I'm looking at it on my screen, it looks dark blue. Anyway, as I say, it doesn't really matter what colours you use. I'm going to tidy the line up at the top there in a moment, at the end. The perimeter line around the picture, you want that to be nice and square as well. I'm just going to take my red a bit stronger here. There we go. So whilst I've got the red in my hand, just seeing where else I want to strengthen what I did before. Okay. There's quite a lot of this purple, so bear with me. Yeah, it definitely looks blue, but I'm stuck with it. I'm committed to purple now, so I'm going to carry on regardless. Okay, and down around the nose. Come under the nose, down between the mouth. Get his little Cheshire cat grin. What I might do is add some black over the top of my purple. There we go. And a little bit in his chin. Purple. Just bring it up here. Okay, I've missed a bit of blue, so I'm just going to come back in. It all comes together at this point. You can see if you've missed any bits when you're almost complete. You can see the areas that you might have missed inadvertently. See, even this blue will come back over the top. So I'm just sharpening, tidying this up, sharpening some areas, getting rid of the white. Come back over the top of that purple. There we go. It's looking good, isn't it? Okay. Now eyes. I'm going to use my black. I think I'm at the stage where I can use my black. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of black up between the nose. Comes up the side of the nose. Round. Quite thinly across the top of the nose. And round here. I really wish I'd used dark blue now. Into the nostril. I could go over it with dark blue if I wanted to. There's no problem doing that. And I'm going to come around this mouth section as well. Over the top of the purple in places, and then I'm going to let it fade into purple. There we go. We're getting a bit of a smile on his face. And around this eye now. Now the eyes will pop out. So just be careful when you're coming around the edge of the eye. Do you want me to do it with my brush? I'm just aware that some of you will be using pens, some will be using brushes. I just want to show you, you can do it with your brush. Just make sure you take your time. Go around that edge. The trick with your acrylic paints, as I said, is to have them nice and wet. Your brush should be nice and wet. There we go. Just taking those points around the face, around the eye where it comes out in peaks. I saw a cat yesterday, a black cat, as I was going for my exercise and walking the dogs. It was a townhouse around the corner from where I live, and this black cat was sitting on the windowsill, which you wouldn't think much of. However, it's a townhouse, and it was the top window out of the bedroom that this cat had climbed up onto, and I thought it was stuck. So I knocked at the lady's door and stood back to keep social distancing. And she was like, "Are you knocking about the cat? She gets disturbed all the time that people see her cat so high up on this windowsill." And as I was chatting to her, down he came and said, "What's all the fuss, little monster?" Because I was chatting then, I made a little bit of a mistake here on the eye. I'm just going to dry that off. I'll have to come back over the yellow again to tidy it up. So, yeah. Eunice, you must concentrate. Stop chatting about cats. Yeah, it was really quite funny. It was a look on the cat's face, as if to say, "Ha, another one. I've fooled somebody else." Mischievous, aren't they? Those are naughty, but cats are devious. And this cat truly knew what it was doing. So have any of you got naughty cats? Okay, now doesn't that look better? And now I've got this slit of the eye to come in with as well. So I'm going to use the tip of my brush. I'm going to push down for the middle, and I'm going to come up the other side. Exactly like the exercise I showed you. Use the tip of the brush, push down through the centre and back up to the tip. Now we have some eyes. The cat can see us. Okay, where else do I need this black, guys? So I've come up the centre of the nose. And it comes round here. There's a bit of white that I need to bring in as well. I shall do that last. Okay, the other eye. I'm going to turn my page round. I hope you're okay with that. I don't make you all feel dizzy. And I'm going to come round the other eye. Comes all the way into the corner. Round the eye. It's a bit of fun, this one today, huh? Nothing too taxing for you today. Just a bit of therapy. Bit of colour therapy today. Round the eye. Around here. Okay, we're winning. Okay, I'm just going to find these other areas that I've not completed now, block them in with the black. I'm going to come down the side. Whoops. Now you could tape this off. You could use masking tape around the edge of your box. In fact, I wish I had now. I will. So long as your masking tape is low tack, just bring some masking tape around the edge of your paper. Or as Sandra told us the other week, if you've got normal masking tape and it feels like it's stuck to the paper, heat it with a hairdryer to loosen the glue, and then it won't tear your paper when you take it off. So I'm just taking my tape around the edge of my little penciled in box. Make sure it's pushed down nicely around the sides. So now I can be more carefree in my application of the black around the outside of the cat. Much better idea, isn't it? So bring that down. Now this is going to be a fiddly bit. You might find more fiddly than other areas. Is coming back into the cat's face. So I'm taking my brush and I'm working in the negative. So I'm taking it from the black and flicking it, taking it to a point, the brush, and working back into those hairs that are coming over the black. Okay. Then if you're working on black paper, you won't need to do this at all. I think most of us are working on white. So I'm just blocking in the black, and then when I get close to the side of the face, I'm just taking my brush, let it come to a point, and working around these whiskers. Don't worry if you block over some of them, you can paint them back in over the top. Be careful if you're working in watercolours doing this, because you won't be able to paint them over the top. Okay, because they're translucent. I think this is really suited to acrylic paints. Sandra, how are you getting on with your brushes? I can't wait to see later what you've done. You can see how he's starting to stand out now against this black. I'm just seeing some areas that I've missed. So there's some more blue to come in here in his eye, and I missed some blue here. It wouldn't have mattered if I'd spotted this after I'd done the black, because, as I say, the paint will go over the top. Now I'm just going to bring that purple in here as well. The more I look at it, the more that purple should have been dark blue. What am I like? Okay, and I need a bit more yellow here too. A bit more yellow. I'm going to bring a bit more yellow in this whiskery bit. And some more reds. Actually, it's pink. Down here, I need some pink. So now I'm doing what my mum did and seeing all the bits that I missed. It's like she's looking over my shoulder laughing at me. Let's bring some of this lovely hot pink into his little chin. Nearly there, guys. I've not done bad. How long have we been going? Nearly an hour. I thought it was going to take me longer, to be honest. It does take time. Sandra, I'm glad you're taking your time. Yours will be better than mine for having taken the time. I'm up against the clock. That's my excuse. It's a really lovely thing to do. If there's any cat lovers in your life, you could make this into a lovely greetings card. Once you've painted it, you could scan it and print it again. So long as you're just giving them away and not selling them, you'll be fine doing that. Pink, and now I'm going to go back to my purple, which should have been blue. Let's come down. Now I'm going to feed some black back in here. Black, and I'm taking my brush back, up and down the page. Black here. Purple. There we go. Nearly there. I'm going to take a bit more green up this top section. I don't want so much black. So I'm just washing my brush out and take some of this lighter green. I'm just making this bit up as I go. I just think there should be a bit more colour before I bring black in there. And I'm going to add some more yellow. I'm going to add some more yellow here as well. I'm just playing now, do the colours I want. Except for my yellow's given up the ghost. There we go. Beautiful little kitty cat. And a bit more red over here. I'm just neatening up my lines where I rushed that section, just tidying it up. Who likes this pussycat? Do you think I've done all right in the time? I'm not really clever. Nice of you to say, Linda, but I am just copying somebody else's picture. But it's fun. I just wanted something fun for Monday. Fun day Monday. I hope you were all getting very arty at the weekend. I was doing some acrylic pouring with my daughter who lives in Manchester. Okay, I'm just tidying up bits here, guys. So I'm coming into this eye. I want a bit more red here. Comes up there, the edge of the nose. Just making it a bit neater. And that red comes round the corner of the eye there. I need a bit more of this dreaded yellow. And I've got white to come yet as well, remember? I've not done the white. So I'm just going to finish off these areas of black, and then I'm going to move on to my white. It's the same again, working this black back into these peaks. And if I need to, I'll bring the blue back over in this section. Remember, I've taped down the edge so I don't have to worry about that. I must admit, I'm really loving doing this. I might see, I might produce some other animals of my own in this style that I can sell, because I think they would be popular. But obviously today it's just a copy of a paint by numbers, so I can't sell that. It has to be my work to sell it, my invention. But yeah, I might look at doing an elephant. What do you think, guys? Elephant or a lion? I'm just creating my own version. Don't rush this, guys. Take your time, enjoy it. If you've started doing it, I don't want you to rush and think, oh, Eunice is finished, I've not finished. Please take your time. It should be a lovely, relaxing thing for you to do. Sit out the garden with a glass of wine. Finish it off in the evening, why not? I'm just working this black back over my purple here, so it makes more sense to me for it to be that way. I'm going to bring some black back up into the chin. I can't wait to take the tape off. That's such a joyous thing. There we go. One cat, almost done. So I need to go into my white. I have to make sure my brush is thoroughly clean. And you need your underpainting to be dry. It's no good putting the white on top if the painting underneath isn't dry, otherwise it will blur and blend. And as I said right at the beginning, we don't want that. I'm just going to bring this white. You need to apply this quite thickly to cover the colours underneath. We'll bring the eye in. I'm just going to switch to my pen for speed. So there's a zigzag bit of light coming through the eye here, zigzag bit, and in this eye, nice and bold. Just remembered I've only just painted a bit of red in that eye, so it's still a bit wet. Never mind. Okay, and then around the mouth here, there's white. How's my little 7-year-old girl that was painting along? Are you still painting with me? And in the side of the mouth as well. So I've left the white till the end. If you're working in watercolours, hopefully you've left the white paper showing through. You could use a masking fluid, or you could even use Crayola crowns to block out if you're using watercolour, to protect the paper and keep it white. Masking fluid or Crayola crown or an oil pastel to put down on the white paper to protect the white. Just looking where these other highlights are. There's a couple up here. Isn't it fun? Oh, thank you, Linda. That's lovely of you to say. That is something that people say when I've done portraits of their pets, that I've not just accurately drawn them, but I've managed to pick up the character of the dog. I'm not sure how I go about doing that, but yeah, that's the feedback I get, which is lovely. Particularly if it's a dog that's passed on. You know, you really want to do hard work well for those people that are grieving for the loss of their pet. It's just like losing a member of the family. I dread the day when mine go. I'm just strengthening this white in the eye. And there's another bit of red I've missed around this edge of the eye. Was you all waiting for me to spot that bit? There we are. So, other than a bit of tidying up and some I've just missed another area here of white and under the eye. Whisker time. I don't want too much paint on my pen. You're better off using a gel pen for this, actually. So I'm going to very lightly bring in some whiskers. Don't worry if the pen skips or your brush skips on the paper. No? One cat. What do you think? Should we take the tape off? How many have I got? Only 9 of you left. Take the tape off. There we have our cat. So thank you to all those that stayed with me during that. As I say, there is a bit of tidying up for me to do to have this completely finished, but I hope you enjoy it. Enjoy doing your versions and send them to me later. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye for now. Have a lovely day.